Welcome to another episode of Home Sweet Home. My name is Rod McCall.
I didn't think I was ever going to get my chance to introduce myself. You went on for a long time. I'm Bryce Runge.
Dang. Somebody squeezed extra hard there. So what's up? How are you today?
I'm fine.
Really?
I'm fine. I'm better than fine. I'm good.
Okay.
Other than it being like a scorcher, it's a scorcher today.
Okay, so maybe I overstepped a little bit, but I do this in the classroom all the time. So it was 122 degrees when I got in my truck yesterday.
That's so hot.
And I told the kids, I said, you know what? I'm going to have to change my lifestyle because it just demonstrated I won't do well in hell.
Did anyone get it?
Well, a few kind of chuckled. A few go. Oh my! Well, one kid goes, "I'm not sure I know how to respond to that." I said, "Well, I have to. That's the best part about it."
That's awesome. Yes, sir.
So anyway,
Jeez. That's funny.
but it's the school year is off and running with, gangbusters. I mean, we're heck. I don't know, we're several weeks in already, and, I'm really having a good time with the kids. I was a little nervous, we had a lot of changes, a lot of personnel changes, and so I was going.
You had a bit of a turnover.
Oh, yeah, tons. Somewhere around a third of the staff.
That's crazy.
Is new this year, and so, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, but it's always, interesting getting to know kids. The beginning of the school year, you're kind of, getting to know them a little bit.
Right.
More importantly, they're getting to know me, and I'm a little crazy.
Way to start off.
Hey, keep them guessing as to just where I am.
Yeah, and it's always a bit of a challenge coming off that summer break. You teachers are off all summer, doing nothing, going on vacation, living up the life, not doing anything.
No kidding, getting paid.
Seriously, you guys got it easy. You got like 6 months off during a year.
I know. I mean, it's
unbelievable.
Kind of, and then
how many teachers are so pissed right now listening? I'm kidding. I was in education for 20 years. I know.
No, so
what are we talking about today?
Well,
do you know?
Yes.
Is it so hot that it's like totally fried your brain? This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs.
This is your brain under heat lamp.
This is your brain in this Texas summer heat.
Yeah. So Sherry and I have.
I wonder if our brain does get hot. I wonder if our brain could overheat. Like, I'm sorry. Totally just interrupted a stupid comment. Anyways.
I'm used to it from you.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
I mean that with all the love and sincerity I can deliver. Oh, look, I'm number one in your heart once again. Hey, so anyway, Sherry and I have a conversation. We talk about this a lot. And, working with kids, having nieces and nephews, and, you watch other people raising kids. And you kind of go, okay, how do you raise your kids? What's the best way to do it? How involved in your kid's life should you be?
Yeah.
And because if you're, what's the line between too much and not enough? If you're not involved, then your kids think, well, you don't care about me, you don't love me, you're not paying attention to me. Then I'm going to do whatever I want.
Right.
But then if you're too involved, you're in my business.
Right.
So we've had a lot of different conversations. And so I ran across a particular article that was in. It was on a website, but it was about this. It's a website that focuses on the brain. In fact, it's called Parenting for the Brain.
So my comment earlier wasn't too far off.
Oh no, what comment
about our brains overheating?
Oh,
I think if you have kids, your brain overheats all the time.
Well, there is that. There is that, and so. It got me thinking of this conversations or these many conversations that Sherry and I've had because it's bad enough, it's tough enough trying to raise your own kids,
right?
And I will say it's always easier to raise somebody else's.
Sure.
And so I read this article. They were talking about helicopter parenting. And what is it and all that. And so it starts out with, well, it doesn't start out with, but I'm going to start out with, is helicopter parenting good or bad?
Okay.
And I think that it's overall, I think it can be bad.
Yeah. Well, to give a little perspective, okay, so helicopter parent, it's when you are like excessive.
Yes.
You're like over the top, excessive attention, all up in your kids.
You're over controlling.
Yeah, I just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know.
In fact, you could go so far as to say it is micromanaging.
Sure.
Every aspect of that kid's life.
Right.
I mean, I've seen it. You give a kid a bad grade for a project that they did or an assignment that they did at home. And then you get the parents, reaching out to you going, why'd they get that grade? Well, I worked my butt off on that.
Right.
It's like, really? Congratulations. You didn't read the directions very well. You got a 75.
But what are you talking about? That's passing.
Well, they thought it was worth 100. Oh. They thought they scored perfect, made no mistakes. And so,
wow. Shame on me.
And so, it got me thinking, what is the value of helicopter parenting?
Yeah.
Because I think it can be easy to do. And I mean, okay, so you brought up a good point. Maybe I should have started there.
It's okay. I just
what is helicopter parenting? And again, it's this micromanaging of the every aspect of your kids or that kid's life. I mean, every move, every experience that they have, you have scripted,
right?
And you have anticipated and planned and prepared. Now, there's nothing wrong with planning. There's nothing wrong with preparing. I'm talking to the extreme as far as what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, you're to the point that you are overly protective. When we were going through the divorce, in fact, even before, Eric's mother, I think, was headed in this direction.
Yeah.
I mean, she was constantly reaching out to the teachers. She was constantly, asking this, demanding that. And it's kind of like, that's chill out.
Yeah.
If you want to coach, then be the coach.
Yeah.
But if you're going to sit on the sidelines, then stay on the sidelines.
Well, and that's why school districts have had to, put out, signs on fences about being a parent and not being a umpire or a referee or whatever, right?
Sure. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No, I'm used to it, but it's cool. Go ahead.
Well, I'm trying to get better. I don't want a helicopter over you.
Gosh, stop being a helicopter parent.
So, I mean, okay, so in this article, they were giving some examples. Helicopter parents hover because that's what they were, that's what they were experienced, or they experienced as a child. But they also do it in a way to a negative extent because they swoop in and, well, as it says here, rescue the child from trouble. Well, sometimes kids need to get into trouble. Sometimes they need to make a mistake so that they can learn from the mistake. And if you're there constantly bailing them out, then they realize and they learn very quickly, oh, I can do whatever I want because here comes mom, here comes dad, and they're going to save the day.
It is a disservice to your children because they're going to hopefully grow up one day and be parents, right? They're going to have jobs. And I know we've talked about this before, but really, are you going to be that parent that calls your kid's boss?
Eric's mom, and I laughed, but she was complaining to me one day many, many years ago. She came in or came home and we were chatting and she goes, "My gosh, I am so sick of this." I go, "What?" "I had a parent come to office hours." This is a college kid, a 19-year-old college kid.
Yep.
And mom came with kid to office hours to complain about a grade, about an assignment.
Yep.
And I mean, we get this. I get it if, okay, we have dual credit at school.
Right.
And so you're taking a college class in high school. So I get when a parent of a junior, of a sophomore, well, I guess you can't really take it as sophomore, but as a junior, this is your first time. And you think, oh, wait a minute, I'm still in high school. The kid's still in high school. The teacher can talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and the teacher, he's a friend of mine and at least does dual credit U.S. history. And he says, yeah, no, I tell mom, dad, sorry, I can't talk to you. Can't talk to you.
Wow.
And then, so what does the parent do? The parent reaches out to the counselor.
Yep.
And now the counselors start talking forward. They pull up and they look at, access information. Right. And the counselor doesn't realize that they're violating federal law because by federal law, you cannot, it's a FERPA violation.
Right.
You cannot talk to a kid. This is a college class.
Yeah.
And so, again, helicopter mom, helicopter dad, Jeez. They get bent out of shape. But, I mean, it's one of these things. I mean, when you're a helicopter parent, you can't let that kid basically live.
Right.
Because you're smothering them so much. They cannot let go of their kids.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot more issues going on. If mom and dad are mom or dad, it can go either direction. But if these parents are that involved, it makes me question. I'm not saying the article says this. It just makes me question: is there something else going on that you can't let go?
Right.
That you are that up in the business of your children? Are you trying to live vicariously through your children? And you're trying to micromanage. And again, I see this a ton at school.
Yeah.
And part of me goes, you know what? You want to be this involved, be a parent volunteer. You want to be this involved, get a job here.
Right.
God
the district is hiring.
Yeah. And so, I mean, this could be emails, from from a parent at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Emailing on a Saturday, emailing on a Sunday.
Yeah. Jeez.
I've gotten parent emails a lot of times at the end of the semester, end of the year, when I've got a senior that we're working together to get kid to pass so they can graduate. That I think is a different one. But again, the question comes down to, is this good?
Right.
I'm biased, and I'll admit it. I am biased that, it's in my perspective. So that's kind of why I like the article as to addressing, is it good or bad?
Yeah.
So I ask you, what do you think?
Well, I think there's pros and cons to it, maybe. I would lean more toward the bad. I don't think it's a good thing, right? Like, going back to, you're setting your kid up to, going back to an episode we did recently, you're setting your kid up to potentially eject and quit.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, mom's not here to rescue me, so I'm going to quit because it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
And so that I see, that's not a good thing. I think you're setting your kids up for a really rough time in the future.
Okay.
Not that life isn't challenging by itself.
No,
Right?
no kidding.
Yeah.
No shiitake mushroom.
No shiitake mushrooms. But yeah, so again, I think there's pros and cons to it, but I lean more towards nope, not a really healthy way to parent. Right, you've got to step back, and I get being a dad or being a parent, and with Braddock's being a freshman, like it's hard when he's a senior. He's going to graduate. It's going to be hard. But I can't. I have to let go. I have to let go.
Cut the umbilical cord.
Right.
Well, so there's been a variety of studies that have been conducted addressing the very issues, and so this article was talking about some of those, and they said that the downside to these studies is that there's no real true good definition of what helicopter parenting is. And as a consequence, it makes a lot of these studies kind of all over the place. But the general feeling, at least in these studies, according to parentingforbrain.com, is that while there are some positives, there's a decent amount of negatives that can come from this. And again, part of it comes from not allowing the child to develop a level of autonomy and kind of become who they are, not being a bunch of mini-me's from mom or dad. It's not helping teach them competency, how to address whatever the issue might be to develop a level of, content knowledge in whatever you're dealing with. And it also limits their ability to relate to others. They call it relatedness, but their ability to relate to others, to have empathy, sympathy, that kind of stuff.
The lack of social awareness, lack of social skills. Yeah.
It can be.
Yeah.
But they also, those are some of the negatives. There's more negatives, but I do want to throw in a few positives, that it does kind of help to an extent, some of the bonding relationships between parents.
Okay.
That can happen. So that can be a better. It can also help, again, to an extent, help develop a sense of confidence.
Okay.
Because parents are there to, and I say this in younger kids or maybe early preteens, so that way they can kind of, give them the confidence to ultimately go out and try on their own. But if you continue too much, too long, too often, well, now you get the negative results. It shows that you are a supportive parent to your kid.
Right.
But some of the other downsides that they've come up with or that they've identified is that it can also lead to higher levels of narcissism in the child and a stronger sense of entitlement. Well, you owe it to me. Well, I deserve this. And so
that is just running rampant.
Well,
entitlement.
There's a lot that would agree with you. And a lot of this starts, again, when you're having that 7-year-old, 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old, okay. But once they start becoming, teenagers, 13, 14, 15, the idea is start giving them more space. You've laid the foundation. Let's see where the foundation takes them.
Right.
You shouldn't be there problem solving every issue. And I have had kids as seniors where mom or dad, usually it's mom, in my experiences it's been more moms, have been very assertive. And, I just say, look, your kid's 17, 18 years old. How are you helping them by fighting their battles for them? And so I don't know how much is that they're an absolute helicopter parent, but that term comes to my mind.
Right.
And so, because some of the other negative side effects of this is that kids have an extremely, an overwhelming fear of failure.
Okay.
They don't want to try because, well, what if I try and fail? And they hit that eject button, to use your comment from earlier. Yeah. They tend to have poor coping skills because, again, and these are your teenagers. These are your 13, 14, 16, 18-year-olds. All right. They have a hard time dealing with day-to-day problems, whatever that day-to-day problem might be. Because, again, they've always had mom or dad there to be by their side and bail them out and not give them that opportunity.
Do you think, side question, note, whatever, do you think that helicopter parenting has contributed to some of the mental health issues?
Well, I don't know for a fact.
Yeah.
But it would make me question that it possibly could, because one of the other negative side effects is mental health issues such as anxiety and depression.
Okay.
Because, again, if you have low self-image, low self-esteem, if you're afraid to try because you're afraid to fail,
right,
then you're not having some of these tools that you need to have by the time you get into, at least developing 7th, 8th grade, so that by the time then you get into high school, 9th grade, 10th grade, you've got some experience. By the time you get to be, 11th grade, 12th grade, so 17, 18 years old, you need to be able to be focusing independently on moving forward.
Right.
And so that's kind of the issue.
Okay.
Because, again, I'll argue, be there for the kids when they're young. If you distance yourself when you are when the kids are 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, then the negativity is of a totally different nature.
Right.
Mom and dad don't care about me.
Yeah.
And that creates and opens up a lot of other doors. So being there to help them. But I don't know. I think a lot depends on the kid, but as to, how much rope to give them.
Right.
But I've teaching seniors for the last 12 years. Most parents have kind of a hands-off, laissez-faire approach. They're going, look, they're a high school senior. They're about to go out and live on their own. I don't need to micromanage them.
Right.
And to me, that's a good, positive mindset.
Sure.
Hard. Like you were just saying, Braddock's he's in 9th grade. How much do you monitor what he does?
Right.
And all that. Who he's talking to, when is he talking to them? How's each class going? Were you there introducing yourself to meet the parents or meet the teacher night?
Right.
They
didn't have one.
Okay. Well, we haven't had ours yet either. I don't even know what it is. But as a senior only teacher, I almost get no parents. Yeah. I mean, I might get, across 6 classes, I might get 4 or 5 parents.
Yeah.
And most of those are new to the district parents or relatively new to the district. And so
I don't think, for me personally, I don't think it is a bad thing, going to that. Like if they have it, I'll probably go.
Okay.
I think it's important. Hey, it's so good to meet you. I'm a relational person anyways.
Sure.
So I like to be around others and I like to build relationships, and, not necessarily I'm going to build a relationship with your teacher, but I want you to know there is a relationship there. I want you to know that I'm involved. Yeah. Heavily involved, but not helicopter involved. Well, and I want you to know that that I'm here, and there's a certain level of involvement that I'm going to be in Braddock's life, that I have been and I will continue to be. But like, as we're talking here, that you start to peel back as he, next year as a sophomore, as a junior, as a senior, until they're ready to go. But the whole entire time I'm teaching him, and now I'm going off on something different, but you need to be accountable for the decisions you make. You're going to be making decisions your entire life. You need to learn how to make wise decisions. And I can't make decisions for your life. I'm not going to be making decisions for you. This is your life.
And that ties into what the article said that I totally agree with. You got to give them room to grow.
Right.
And part of giving them room to grow is the opportunity to A, make mistakes, and B, deal with the consequences of those mistakes.
Right.
Because you can't learn if you never A, make a mistake, or B, have to deal with the consequences of your decisions.
Right.
I mean, because they're like, okay, some more examples that the article talks about. In elementary school, go to meet the parent or meet the teacher night. Right. Introduce yourself like you just said. All right. That's appropriate. Maybe sign up to be a room mom, help out as you can, or a room dad.
Why would I? Oh.
Let me finish.
Sorry. I interrupted you.
Thank you. Stop interrupting me. God, what a helicopter. But where they're saying...
What are you doing over there?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Who are you texting?
I'm not even on my phone. Jeez.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So stop micromanaging me. But in elementary school, the difference might be is when a parent makes sure that a child gets a specific teacher. All right. Or not only are they go so far as to not just help the kid do their homework, but do the homework, do the projects. In middle school, instead of letting kids pick their friends, the parents pick the kids' friends, running interference for them so that way, again, they are, we're the cool parents.
Right.
Well, again, you're micromanaging. In high school, parents might, again, be involved. Help your kid at home. Maybe you're an expert. Okay. If you happen to be an expert in math or English or science or social studies, I mean, hey, look, if you're a diplomat or if you're into, let's say you're a state legislator and your kid's taking government and politics and you want to help your kid at home, by all means.
Right.
Okay. But if you're not, okay, I'm not good at math. Okay, I'm not going to try and reteach a pre-calculus lesson to my kid.
Right.
I barely made it through college algebra, and that was after 2 attempts. So basically what they're saying is help your kids, but don't assume that you know more. All right. Again, going to a great example of that helicoptering is when Eric's mom had a parent come with the kid to college professor office hours.
I feel bad for that kid.
Oh,
I wonder what he's doing right now, or she's doing right now.
I don't know. But I mean, again, I worry about the long-term negative consequences.
Right.
So
there's definitely a long-term impact or an impact based off of parenting, obviously. No, duh, right? But this in particular. So
I don't know. I mean, I would say that when, for the few years that Eric was in school, I was more of a, I was there, I was present, I would show up to all the events, but I wasn't regularly emailing the teacher saying, why did you get this grade on this particular assignment?
Right.
I'm going, okay.
Yeah.
My parents weren't that way. They weren't, they weren't a micromanager. So,
yeah, same here.
But anyway, so that's, I don't know what kind of parent you are or what you will be with the girls, especially when the boys start showing up.
So with the girls, I'm definitely going to be the helicopter. No, I'm just kidding.
So anyway, that's all I got.
Well, good. I like that. No, it is. I mean, we see it quite a bit, and I don't know. Just take a step back, reevaluate. Is this positively impacting my kid and his or her future? Again, sometimes it's hard to let go, and you want to be involved. And for me, maybe it's maybe I do teeter on the helicopter, and I just don't know it. And I think maybe I do that because I don't see him every day. I see him, right?
Yeah. Well, it is. He continues to get older. You'll see him less and less. Even if he was living here, you would see him less and less.
Right. So I don't know. Anyways, that's good. No, it is. It's a good one. Thank you for sharing. But I wanted to have this, and I thought this would tie right into
Okay.
our message. You're waiting?
I'm waiting.
Oh, maybe it's not working. Dang it. You know why it's not working? I think because we're plugged in here.
Oh, okay.
Dang it. Oh, I should do it from my phone. Anyways, talk about something else. What you have anything else you want to share?
No.
Real quick? Give me 10 seconds.
10 seconds. 9.
No,
Eight.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, hey, speaking of counting down from 10, we were talking about political ads, and I showed the 1968 Barry Goldwater
yeah.
commercial or TV ad of the little girl plucking most people have no clue what I'm talking about, but the little girl, she's counting, or she's pulling she's got old Daisy, and so she's pulling the little flowers off. 1, 2. Well, then they're counting down for a nuclear explosion, and when she gets to 1, you see a nuclear bomb go off, and it says, and then the ad was vote for don't vote for Goldwater or something like that. It was great. Basically saying if you vote for Barry Goldwater, this is what you're going to get: nuclear war.
Oh, jeez.
So anyway,
well, good.
All right.
Well, thank you.
Did you figure out what you want?
I did. I was just going to share this.
All right, share.
We're talking. It's a helicopter. It's the sound of a helicopter.
Outstanding. Well, in that case,
we waited all this time for that. I tried to play it earlier when it would have fit in, and then it didn't play, and it backfired.
Gotcha. Well, then I'm going to go catch the helicopter and head on out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rod.
I'm Bryce. Have a good day.